All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. My name is Johnson Wala. So I'll just be coordinating the program today. Uh, just like we do weekly, we start with a short presentation for the topic. After that, we'll keep the room open for everyone to contribute their own. So this week's topic is talking about management of workplace security. So this topic is something that to some of us, it might look off to health and safety topic, but it's not off, it's actually part of health and safety. In some organizations, security and safety are in the same department, which means the person managing the department will be in charge of both security and health and safety. So it's a culture in some organizations that security and health and safety are merged into the same department. So we'll be talking about this topic today, bearing in mind that workplace security is to the benefit of everyone in the organization. So as health and safety professionals, even if security department is not embedded in your own department in your organization, but knowing exactly what is required of security department or security team, and as a health and safety professional, trying to ensure that the well-being of the workers or well-being of the employees becomes the priority of every department related to you. So that is why we'll be looking at this topic today. And in the course of the discussion, we'll be sharing personal experiences, how we manage the security of our workplace. So in this brief discussion, I'll be covering the definition of security in workplace. I'll talk about the importance of workplace security. I'll also look into some types of workplace security, and I'll look at some best practices to ensure a proper security in the workplace. So what does it entail? What does workplace security entail? It simply means those measures and practices that are implemented in the workplace to ensure the safety and protection and the well-being of employees. Not just the employees, both the visitors, contractors, including the assets in the workplace. So in security terms, when we talk about assets, we don't mean just facilities or equipment. We also include the employees as the major assets of the organization. So those practices that we put in place to ensure that the organizational assets, including the employees, the visitors, and contractors, are well protected is what we refer to as security. So security is not just about the physical protection. It goes beyond physical protection and includes digital security as well as the compliance to laws and legal regulations. So let's look at the benefits or importance. Why is it important to ensure workplace security for both employees and the organizations themselves? First is the employee well-being. So if the workplace is well secured, if everyone working in that workplace knows that there is adequate security measures in place to protect them and to prevent intruders or unauthorized access to the workplace, then everyone will be rest assured. Everyone will be relaxed while doing their job without bearing in mind or without being afraid of anything happening to them. So workplace security ensures that the workers are safe and ensures that the well-being of the employees are well maintained. So if there is proper security in the workplace, then the employees will focus on their job, knowing that everywhere is secured, knowing that there is proper security measures in place. The second reason why workplace security is important is it ensures protection of the assets. Because if there is no proper security, there is a possibility of unauthorized access, there is possibility of intruders, there is possibility of theft, damage to the equipment in the workplace. And this will become a cost or a burden, a financial burden to the organization. So ensuring that there is proper security in that workplace will entail that the assets, the company properties are well secured and protected, thereby saving costs to the organization. Another reason is that it ensures productivity and efficiency. When the workplace is well secured, people will go about their businesses doing the job efficiently without looking around. For instance, in countries or maybe in regions where there is war or where there is violence, you see that people cannot do their job with a rest of mind. So the productivity will be very low. The outcome of the job, the efficiency of the job will be reduced. So this is what security of the workplace entails. So trying to ensure that the workplace is well secured will enhance the productivity of those employees. Another reason is it ensures legal compliance. There are legal laws, there are regulations in that locality saying that there should be proper security in the workplace. So when this is done and when the organization complies with this, then they will not be afraid of fines or maybe prosecution from the local authorities because they are complying with what the law says, they are complying with the legal requirements. Another reason is customer and client confidence. The customer will be confident in the organization, knowing that every fund release will be secured. The equipment will not be lost. The employees will not be attacked. There will be no unauthorized access. There will be no damage or loss to the items in the workplace. So the customers will have confidence in that organization, and there's possibility of getting more contracts because the customer or the client is confident or is rest assured in how the organization manages the security of the workplace. The other reason is it saves cost. So having security in place, preventing theft in the workplace saves costs, of course, because when there is theft or when there is damage due to lack of proper security in the workplace, the organization will have to replace those items. So having proper security in the workplace will save costs and ensure that the organization is not replacing damaged items or stolen items. So let's look at types of workplace security. Physical security simply means those measures and controls that we put in place to ensure that there is no unauthorized access to the workplace. So the first method of physical security is deterrence method. This deterrence method is in the form of convincing those attackers or the intruders that there are proper measures in place already that will not give them success in their endeavor or whatever they plan to do. So this type of measures, including warning signs, for instance, in the around the workplace perimeter fence, you have warning signs saying that there is a CCTV monitoring or the entire workplace is under CCTV monitoring. So this type of signages will deter whoever wants to commit any crime within that vicinity, knowing that there is full monitoring and there is full coverage in that location. Lighting as well. If the workplace perimeters are properly lightened, there's proper light, maybe floodlight or maybe sensor lights around those perimeters. So it will deter people from coming inside the workplace without adequate permission, because everywhere is well lighted and people can see you from afar, and whatever action you take, people can be able to see you. So this will deter people from taking any action against the workplace. Perimeter markings, vehicle barriers. So these are types of deterrents that will ensure physical security in the workplace. Another type is physical barriers. So when we have physical barriers in place, like fence, like razor wires, like height restrictors, these physical barriers will ensure that only authorized people are coming into the workplace. There will be no unauthorized persons. People without good intentions will not come into the workplace because there is physical barriers preventing them from taking those actions. Another type of physical security could be access control. Access control helps to regulate the people that goes inside the workplace. Only the people having proper access, like mechanical access controls, such as keys, physical tokens, even digital access controls like fingerprint scanners or facial recognition scanners. So these are types of access controls that regulate who comes into the workplace. And when this is in place, it will help to ensure that only authorized persons have access to that location and the workplace is properly secured. Another one could be security personnel. Having security personnel or security guards at every entrance in the workplace will ensure that only authorized persons comes into the place and ensure that visitors or people who are trespassing will not have access to that workplace. And this will also help to reduce injuries to visitors or maybe to public people or maybe passers-by. So having security guard or security personnel at the locations or at the workplace will help to ensure that only authorized persons have access to the workplace and at the appropriate time. So these are some of the best practices that we can put in place to ensure proper security management in the workplace. The first one is security plan. Just like we have health and safety plan, there is a security plan. This security plan will help the organization to outline the policies, the procedures, who are responsible for what in the workplace, the roles and responsibilities of every person related to the security activities. So developing a security plan will help to guide the management of security in the workplace. Another best practice is regular audits. Conducting audits periodically to ensure to confirm if the security plan or security policies and other management systems are properly implemented in the workplace. This will help to be able to identify where there are lapses, where there are needs for improvement, and when these actions are taken promptly, so it will also help to prevent any injury or any incident. Training, conducting proper training, ensuring that all the employees are trained in security management and security procedures, security policies, will ensure that everyone is aware of what is the security situation in that workplace, what is required everyone to do, and what not to do to ensure that the entire workplace is secured and that there is also proper management of security in the workplace. Another best practice is to implement access control technology, improving access control, ensuring that visitors are properly managed, access control of employees. Employees have proper access control, and those who are not authorized will not be able to have access to the workplace because its technology is used to control access to that workplace. So these are some of the best practices that we can implement to ensure that security in our workplace is properly managed. Now, as a bonus point, I will be looking at some of the differences or the similarities that we have from between the terms security and safety. You know, most times we use the two terms interchangeably. It doesn't mean that the difference is not too broad, but using them rightly and understanding where each of them is applied will go a very long way. So by definition, safety is talking about the protection of workers or employees from injury and harm, while security is interested in protecting the organization from intentional harm, such as theft and vandalism, and the violence as well. That is the aspect from definition aspect. Then prevention, safety aims to prevent accident and injury, while security is aiming to prevent criminal activities and violence. So these are some difference based on prevention. In emotional aspect, safety is associated with physical well-being and avoiding harm, whereas security is more interested in intentional threats and criminal acts. The goal of safety is to prevent accidents, whereas the goal of security is to protect the organization and from intentional harm. So security deals with unintended incidents, such as slip, fall, equipment malfunction. These are unintended incidents. These are what safety deals with. Whereas security is more interested in deliberate acts, such as theft, vandalism, terrorism. So these are what security is focusing on. In coverage, safety is covering accidental risk, whereas security is covering intentional risk. So those risks that people do intentionally, such as vandalism, violence, theft, these are intentional acts, and this is what security is covering. In responsibility, safety is focusing in protecting people from hazard, whereas in responsibility, security is more interested in protecting the assets from unauthorized persons, like criminals, like burglars. These are what security is focusing on. In approach, safety is concerned about prevention through practices, procedures, plans. Security is focused on deterrence and protection against criminal acts. Deterrence, we've discussed deterrence, those actions or those measures that we put in place to ensure that unauthorized persons do not approach, or they feel that they will not succeed if they take those actions against the organization. So looking in terms of time frame, safety focuses on immediate and long-term well-being of employees, whereas security addresses both immediate threats and ongoing protection. The types of threats that safety deals with are accidental threats, whereas the security deals with intentional threats, such as cyber attacks, workplace violence. These are intentional threats which security deals with. So I brought this as a bonus point for us to look into some of the differences that we might see between safety and security, especially in those organizations where both safety and security are operating in the same department. So there will be some people focusing on those intentional acts, and there are others focusing on the unintentional act or the accident that could happen. So those are the security and the safety. Okay, so these are a few points that I want to discuss today. And we are going to go into the discussion part, which will give us opportunity to talk about how we implement security in our workplace and the measures that we have in place to ensure the security of the workplace and that of the employees. So that is my presentation. Thank you for your time. And the floor will be open now for further contribution. Yeah, anyone can go ahead and contribute. I can't hear you, Mojude.
For doing justice to the topic. You really did a great job. I appreciate you. Now, I just wanted to add on to a few comments to what you have said. In remote locations, it's very important that the safety protocols have to be a robust one. Why did I say so? Because we found out that these remote locations are locations that allow for people to do lone working, and additional safety precautions or protocols ought to be put in place in such a situation. Apart from that, it's also important that, like you rightly said, there should be a department in an organization set to handle security. Now, you rightly said, you said that, yes, security is a basic part of safety, yes. But you're going to discover that security is very broad. And so companies that really want to, organizations that really want to develop their security or really want to make their security robust, they should try and edge out security as a different department, although it's in line with safety, but a different department that will be more elaborate to really cover the security of the location, mostly in remote settings. And also, I will also want to say, in terms of enemy attack in remote locations, people should be taught how they handle enemy attack. Now, you just heard a gunshot from the outside, from the outside the perimeter of the work location in offshore locations. What do? Do you start running? Do you start moving here and there? No. Do you place yourself at the back of crude oil pipes that can be source of ignition or explosion if the enemy want to take a shot on the workers in the location? So people in these locations ought to come to this awareness of what they will do when they encounter things like shootouts, something of such. So, and the emergency preparedness plan for these ought to be robust, and people should come to really understand what their approach should be. They have to be calm. They don't have to run helter skelter. They have to make sure they secure themselves back of the places that are walled away from hydrocarbons or things that will cause explosion when any accident will, any enemy will want to attack in such a scenario. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful contribution. That is well vast, and thank you for sharing that from your immense experience. So we'll take more contributions from others. Yes, Andrew, go ahead.
Please.
You're muted, I can't hear you. Andrew, you are still muted though, in case you are talking.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, bro.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Yes, I just want to add one or two of my experience regarding security issue. Yeah, it is a very nice and good topic at this time. Security is very important in our daily lives, organization, and as individual and government. And I must commend you for taking our time to tell me to do security work, and I was like, where do I start from? Because the company never hired security personnel, and maybe they feel it's not necessary. But as time goes on, they discover that things are missing from the site like almost every day. Between subcontractors, the main contractor, and everyone was like accusing each other. So they call us the safety department that you guys have to take security as part of the job. So we at that point have to manage both sides. I was like, where do I start from? So anyhow, we organize ourselves and we drop a program to see how we can manage the situation. And you know, it's very embarrassing because the man just wants us to start searching people back before they close. And that will also cause another chaos and all that. So first I told him that, okay, let us see how we can go about it. I printed some guidelines and all that and make a memo sent to all the subcontractors and paste the memo around that for one reason or the other, don't be embarrassed when the bag is being searched. And when we start the program, some people were almost like the engineers and foremen. Why would you check my bag? So I told them, look, if we are checking, we are compared to check the labor, then we have to check everybody. Even myself, you have to check. So that was how we were able to manage the situation and the missing items, especially this generator was missing, work tools like drill, welding machine. These things were missing from site. And this cable pulling, this cable were missing. So we discovered that some people are putting this cable in their bag and all that. Because we implemented this program, automatically they know. So that gave impression that when people know that there's security in place, there's almost 80% crime will reduce. But when there is no security, people can just misbehave the way they like, just pick whatever they want to pick at the loss of the organization and individual. And then it brings respect, it brings more understanding. Everybody became watchdog, and that was how the situation was handled. Thank you very much. So security is a noble job and very interesting. And we have to, if we find ourselves in that situation, the level of professionalism should be exercised, because ordinarily people feel embarrassed when you accost them for one reason or the other, questioning and all that. So there's high level of patience, explanation, and professionalism that security personnel, or in any way you find yourself in that situation, you have to maintain, and you have to be patient with people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandro, for that wonderful contribution. You see, in that case, it became embarrassing, or it was almost difficult to handle, because it was now a reactive measure. We are now reacting to the issue. It was not taken into consideration from the onset. Had it been security was taken into consideration, and we had proactive measures like security plans, security guards, all those things in place from the onset, it wouldn't have gotten to that point. So that also portrays the point that security should be given adequate attention. If not, there will be some losses that the organization will incur because of poor security in the workplace. So we can take more contributions. Yeah, the floor is open for more contribution.
Good evening.
Good evening, Afemi.
Yes, sir. I just want to share my own experience. Something similar to what the last speaker said. There was a project I worked on, my last project, really. We had security plan in place. There was security on site. Due to the environment also, there is necessity of having enough security on site. But we discovered that during lunch, things will be missing. During lunchtime. And there was a situation where we resumed from break and we came back to site. And we saw that up to like 4 welding machines of a particular company had gone missing. Now, this is a very large site. So it's not something you can just say, oh, let's start tracing. It will take days, if not months. So what did we do? At this instance, my manager then had to tell us that we had to be running shifts during lunch in each area. So when people know that people are watching, they will not want to try all these hanky-pankies. And trying to do that, some of the welding machines were seen after 3 months on the same site. Already colored changed, but there are some parts that you can't change. And that was how the companies were able to trace their equipment. For us that have big sites and multiple subcontractors, I think apart from the general safety mechanism, each subcontractor also have to do more in securing their properties also. Yeah, the main contractor can go ahead and secure the perimeter and the rest. In fact, on this same project, we had a case where people from a particular country do scale the fence and run away. They run away from site because it was a closed camp we were operating. So, and this was a major security issue. There were perimeter watch. Every 200 meters, we had a watchtower. But even at that, people were escaping. There was a time it got to a peak, and they had to now devise patrol on the outer of the fence at night from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Patrol vans to be moving around. And this was what really deterred these occurrences. So my own contribution is that security is something we need to put money into. We are never too secure. We are never too secure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi, for those wonderful experience and insights on how to go about them. There was one project I worked on around 2021 or 2020. So towards the end of, that was a stadium project. Towards the end of that stadium project, we were amazed that we had certain number of security that were almost half of the number of workers in that site. And a lot of people were asking, why do you have a lot of this security? But looking at it, you understand that when the project is at the finishing stage, a lot of facilities has been installed and a lot of things are almost ready for use. So not looking after them or not securing them will entail maybe damages or maybe some of them getting missing, which will also require reinstallation, or some of them are made particularly for that particular project, which will require more time to start bidding for replacement. So having those number of security patrolling the site, even during breaks, during lunch times, even while the job is going on, security is patrolling around the site towards the finishing time of that project. So that was to ensure that they deter people from doing anything that will incur further costs to the project, and secure the ones that has been already installed and ensure that more damages are not experienced. So security is very, very important. People who neglect security in the workplace or in the site, they also pay dearly for it. There's in so many ways there will be costs associated with it. So thank you very much, Mr. Femi, for that insights and those experiences you shared. Okay, we still have a few minutes to go. If someone else wants to contribute, we can take more contribution. We have 9 minutes more to go, so we can take 1 or 2 more contributions. Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to digress a bit regarding this topic of discussion. You see, before I have not come to appreciate the security measures, but coming to Qatar, I learned one thing. I think apart from the site issue, we can learn Qatar blueprints for security. You see, in every shop, individual shop, you go to small kiosks, you see security camera everywhere. It's there. And what does that tell you? That little contribution go a long way to send a lot of messages to people and automatically reduce crime, we reduce theft. It gives people sense of responsibility per se. And I look back to my country and I was like, how do we say this message? You see, like implementing that in our local community, in our area where we operate, if that can also be, so you can see that crime rate will reduce drastically. So it's something that we should build in, not just about only our site. It will help us as individuals, our home, our assets, our investments. So it goes a long way because security brings peace, bring a serene environment at the workplace, at home, in the wider society. So it's really worth learning. It's worth practicing. So that's just it from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew. Actually, the importance or the contribution of security cannot be overemphasized. And talking about those measures, it serves more as a deterrence than just reactive measures. You see, the major people or the major things that people will do are people who comes to steal, who comes as theft. The armed robbers will always find their way. They will come without, even if there is a heavy security. But those will occur once in a while. But the people who will steal on every opportunity or any opportunity are almost everywhere. So having those deterrence measures in place are even will give you, even though the process might even be less expensive, but it will give higher outcome. So just like you have said, the security cameras or CCTVs mounted around everywhere is serving as a deterrence measures and is giving a good result. It's giving positive result in this place. So it's actually what we need to learn and what is worth practicing in any part of the world, especially where we are coming from. Okay, if someone else wants to contribute, we can take one more before we call it a day. Okay, Francis, you are not yet back. You are still on the way?
No, I just entered room.
Ah, I thought as much. Okay, so guys, if there is no further contribution, no need keeping us further. So thank you all for attending today. Thank you guys for your wonderful contribution and your experience you shared to go a long way in helping us enhance our confidence and our competence. So thank you all for joining and do have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.